Hello everyone, this is 5 and welcome to the Cobra Man Central Toy Review. And today so we'll be looking at the 2010 release by Revoltech of the Sci-Fi Revoltech Series number 14, and we'll be looking at Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th movies. And I got this straight from a local toy shop near my area for 135 ringgit, which is actually normal pricing for a Revoltech figure. Other places are scoped up to 140, 145 ringgit. Yes, but 135 ringgit is a normal pricing being sold for that shop itself. Cheapest I've seen so far. Now, let's take a look at the packaging itself. I'm a big fan of the Friday the 13th series, and especially on Jason Voorhees here. But what kept me wanting to get this figure is because the amount of accessories being loaded for this figure itself. Loaded, as it's shown at the bottom part section here, you get to see the amount of weapons that, well, Jason Voorhees have been wielding to kill a whole bunch of people. There, you notice there's the pitchfork, there's the shovel, there's the machete, there's the saw, there's the pickaxe, there's two axes, and there's a nice little diorama setting with a hangman noose. Very nicely done. That's what kept me wanting to get this figure. Now, the front part of packaging, you got a nice little image of Jason Voorhees posed in a manner that he's going to chop you with his machete. Very nicely done. Now, you notice this piece is sort of like a separate piece, but it's actually glued to the packaging itself. Yep. And unlike the rest of the packaging, it has its own door. As you can see, it's stick to Velcro here, and you notice. Now, here you got a lot of write-up, all in Japanese, but you can guess what they are trying to say, trying to explain who's Jason Voorhees is and when's the movie first came out, which is 1980s. Very nicely done. And you get to see a lot of nice little images from the old Friday the 13th movies, from the first movie to the second, where he wrapped his head with a bag with one eye hole, to the third movie. You got even the movie about Jason going to the Manhattan. That's Jason X as well. Very nicely done. Very nicely done indeed. Now, here is the most impressive part of the packaging itself, the front part of packaging, which showcase a lot of stuff. Yes, it comes with two heads, one injured head, and the other one is the normal head, and two masks. Yes, there are two masks, which I'm going to show later. There's the diorama there, you got all sort of weapons there, and the Revoltech coin. Very nicely done. On the side here, it showcases, well, what's being released on that month itself, month of October, as you notice. And on the other side, nothing much, just Jason Voorhees, sculpted by Takeya Takayuki. Very nicely done. And at the back here, very, very nice. It showcases a lot of stuff. And what kept me going as well is the additional accessory, the severed head there. Very nicely done. So, without further ado, which I'm already babbling a lot about this packaging alone, let's open up this bad boy so we can molest it. Be right back. And we're back on the room your figure, and there's the stuff out from packaging. Now, inside the packaging, it comes with a small catalog for all the past releases for the Sci-Fi Revoltech, as you can see here. And yes, they're all in Japanese. Next, we'll take a look at the small casing here. We got a small little casing to store all the smaller bits of parts into the box itself. Of course, it doesn't fit the longer pieces, but don't worry about that. We have the diorama there, and the rest of the items can be placed onto the diorama itself. Next, we have the Revoltech coin, the 10 points Revoltech coin there, which can be exchanged in, well, only in Japan, if we collect enough of this. Then we have a small little nameplate here stating Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, 1980. At the back there's nothing else. At the bottom there's a hole here for you to plug into, well, wherever, which is very nicely done though. Now, let's take a look at his weapons. He has a lot of weapons. He got a pitchfork, very nicely done, and rusted too, very nicely painted. A shovel, also rusted. An axe, a bloody axe, a pickaxe, a saw. As you can see, at the bottom part of the saw itself, all the serrated blade is also sculpted, very nicely done. All the rivets are there as well, very nice. And his classic machete, which is bloody as well, very nice. Next we'll take a look at the diorama. The diorama you need to assemble it yourself because it comes with 3 pieces. This is one piece and this is a second piece, and it's really easy to assemble. All you have to do is just plug it in and you're done. And it's a really nice diorama here, especially on the broken wood itself. You can see the amount of details they actually put it in. You got a noose, very nice, a hangman noose here, very nicely done. Of course it's not actual rope, it's all plastic, very nicely done. You got a nail here for you to hang the saw, which I'm going to demonstrate later. They've got 2 pegs here for the figure to stand on. Nice little saddle now, broken bottle, horseshoe, very nicely done. Then we have a holding hand. It doesn't have the atypical Revoltech joint here. Basically you got a peg here and you got the hand, and this one actually has articulation. It allows you to swivel the hand like so. It doesn't have the that Revoltech ball joint there, and it's quite detailed stuff. As you notice, all the veins are popping out, fingernails are also painted, very nicely done, detailed stuff. Now it also has a pair of open hands, and they are also rather detailed stuff. All the veins are popping, very nicely done. Now we have another accessory, the hand, the bloody hand holding the severed head. And those who already seen the movie, especially part 2 movie or part 3 movie, you'll know which head we're talking about here, very nicely done. The hair is being gripped onto. The face sculpt is very nice. The paint job on the blood itself is very nicely done. Very detailed stuff. And if you want more gore, bottom part of the chopped neck is also very detailed. Very macabre. Very nicely done. Now it comes with 2 heads. We'll take a look at the first head first. Just pop off this head. We got your normal head of Jason Voorhees with the hockey mask, and yes, it's removable. First things first, we'll take a look at the hockey mask. This is the back, very nicely done, very dirty looking hockey mask, and that's Jason Voorhees. Very detailed stuff. I really love the amount of detailed paint job they put onto the figure itself. The eyes are painted, very nicely detailed stuff there. If each of the individual tooth there is also painted, the lips is also painted, very nicely done with red and pink there, very nicely done. Now the other head is the injured head. You notice the hockey mask here, I'm going to remove this. The hockey mask here is damaged, and at the edges there is also painted in blood, very nice. Here is Jason Voorhees with the bloodied face and open wound, very nice. Paint job is absolutely gorgeous. However, when you're trying to place the head onto the body itself, it will take some working because, well, the hole is a bit tight, so you have to push it really deep in slowly, and don't use too much force because this is Revoltech. You don't want to damage the joint itself. Now let's take a look at the figure itself. The figure is a typical body with some Revoltech joints. So the head, if the head is on, the head can actually move 360 degrees if you choose to be, and move up and down like so. Shoulders here can move 360 degrees. move up and down, or depending on where you turn it, because this is a Revoltech joint there, so a lot of possibility can be made. The elbow joint here can bend forward, back a little bit, turn 360 degrees. Again, Revoltech joint, you can do whatever you want. Wrist joint here, because when you pop the wrist joint, it's just this peg, so it only swivels 360 degrees unless you equip with this one. Now the torso joint here, there's no upper torso joint, but there is a joint at the hips there. You can see it's a really irregular way of making it. As you can see, the peg is sort of bent this way because the hole is aiming at this direction. Not too sure why they do that, but Jason Voorhees here can bend the body down or up to the back like so. Now the hip joints is a bit limited because he can only bend the legs this far and none to the back, and depending on where you twist the ball joint, it can also go to the sides a little bit. Knee joint don't bend really far, it bends this much. And then you got the ankle joint, can go up and down and turn 360 degrees depending on how you turn the joint. Now the entire sculpt for the body itself is quite simplistic, and according to the packaging on the back here, you actually have this very soft plastic for his lower shirt here to simulate like real shirt or something, so it's actually not bad. And for the paint job, he's wearing a very dull clothing, so atypical clothing for Jason Voorhees. Is very nicely done with the rest of the stuff, but the clothing is, well, bland as intended, just like in the movies. Now we'll try to equip Jason Voorhees with all the rest of the stuff. First, we'll remove the left hand to equip with this hand, holding the serviette head, like so. The other hand, just pop it off, remove it, and equip it with the holding hand, and then equip him with the machete. Very nicely done. Put it one side here. Let's take a look at the diorama. The saw can be hung onto the nail here. The rest of the stuff, just sprawl it just like I've shown at the back of the packaging, like so. Basically everything can be placed here, and finally we put Jason Voorhees here. There's a lot of items, so I have to remove some of the items first. There you have it. And the final item, yes, you can slot the bloody axe to his injured head, like so. Very nicely done. And there you have it. A very awesome figure with a very awesome diorama here. The figure is actually worth it if you're a big fan of the Friday the 13th series, especially on Jason Voorhees. And it's a bit pricey, but it's really worth it because the amount of details you're gonna get for the Revoltech figure, and the amount of accessories that this guy has that comes along with a diorama, unlike the rest of the other series that some of them don't even come with a diorama. So this is a very good set. So if I'm gonna give a rating of this, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. And I thank you all for watching. This is Lucio 5, and I'm signing off.